B.B. King is a very good blues artist, but that's more blues guitar. I actually don't know much about blues piano artists. Maybe we'll look some up a little bit later. Okay, here we go. Let me get things situated here. Okay, so if you don't know, that was the ending to the B-flat blues. It's a really fun and somewhat simple, at least when you first get started out, way to improvise on the piano. And I'm going to show you basically all the basic concepts behind it and how to begin putting them together so you can begin playing blues on your own. We're going to be talking mainly about how to play the B-flat blues scale, which it's mainly based on, the chords used in the B-flat blues, chord progression that's used, and putting it all together. And we are doing the 12-bar blues, meaning that it is 12 bars or 12 measures long. All right, let's get on to our first main topic. Okay, first I'm going to teach you about the B-flat blues scale. This is the most important thing that wraps everything together. The B-flat blues scale is made up of these notes: B-flat, D-flat, E-flat, E, F, A-flat, and then a B-flat. So let me show you here. So this is what it will look like on the piano. So you had B-flat, D-flat, E-flat. So these first three black keys here, and then you have E, F right here. So these three black keys, and then the next two white keys, and then A flat, B flat, like that. And the fingering that I like to use if you're using multiple octaves is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Did you get all that? The fingering is pretty easy compared to a lot of scales we play. Now, you can practice it in your left hand too, but mainly when you're first learning how to do this, you're not going to be playing the scale with the left hand. Instead, the left hand is going to be reserved for the chord. So I'm going to have you look at the blues scale again real quick. Pause the video if you need to kind of jot this down or screenshot it or something like that. So once you practice the blues scale, we're going to get on to our next topic, which of course is the chords used in the B-flat blues, because like I mentioned, in our left hand, that's where we're going to be playing our harmony or the background chords. Okay, the first chord we have is what's called a B-flat 7 chord, or that's short for B-flat dominant 7th. So let's take a look at what that will look like on the piano. So we have the notes B-flat, and we want to play this with the left hand, D, F, A-flat. And you want to play them together like that. You want to be able to play these chords lickety-split, like I guess the back of your hand, they always say. So you don't even really have to think about them much, because, and the scale is the same way, the B-flat blues scale, because when you start putting these together, you're really going to be spending a lot of your brain power just on the coordination between both hands. So your first chord you want to learn is B-flat 7, B-flat, D, F, A-flat. Now, if I take away the notes, how do you spell that chord? Or what notes make up that chord? What were they? B-flat. Then what's the next one? D, F, A-flat. B-flat, D, F, A-flat. You got to have that up in your memory bank. Let's talk about the next chord, which is the E-flat 7 chord, made up of E-flat, G, B-flat, and D-flat. And this is what this looks like on the piano. E-flat, G, B-flat, D-flat. Just like that. Going back to the first one again, B-flat, D, F, A-flat. And then back to E-flat 7, E-flat, G, B-flat, and then D-flat. Okay, now for the final chord we're going to be using, there's only 3 chords we're using. The last chord is the F7 chord, which is made up of the notes F, A, C, and E-flat, which is going to look like this, F, A, C, E-flat. So let's go over all 3 of these chords again. Let's see if you can remember them. B-flat 7. What 4 notes make up the B-flat 7 chord? Well, B-flat, right? Makes sense? B-flat, D, F, and then A flat, just like that. Now, what 4 notes make up the E flat 7 chord? E flat, and then what? G, B flat, D flat, and then the F7 chord, which with 3 notes make those up. Well, F, A, C, and then the E flat right there. Just like that. All right. So remember B flat 7, E flat 7, F7, just like that. Okay, now let's get on to our next topic, which is the chord progression, because not only are the chords important, but playing them in the right order. So remember, there are 12 measures total. There are 4 measures in the beginning of B flat 7. So what you want to do is you want to go to the piano here, and you just want to, maybe count out 4 measures just playing this as quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there was 4 measures of B flat 7, and then what you're going to do after that is 2 measures of E flat 7. And then what does it say? 2 measures of B flat 7. 1 measure of F7. 1 measure of E flat 7. And then 1 measure of B flat 7. Now, if the thing about the 12-bar blues is that it often goes around and around. So if you want to continue going, you will want to go to an F7 chord, and that will help you basically do the whole thing over again. But if you wanted to just finish it after that 1 measure of B flat 7, just finish on the B flat chord, and that's how you'll finish it. So make sure not only do you practice the chords involved, but the second thing you want to do is, okay, the next thing you want to begin doing is playing the B flat blues scale while playing the chords with the left hand to get used to moving between the chords in the progressions and to develop a basic coordination between the hands. So let's take a look at what that would look like. So you're going to be playing your B flat 7 chord. You don't necessarily have to be playing it as quarter notes if you're just getting used to this. But basically, you want to hit the chord here, and you want to play up the scale and down the scale. And then you want to move to the next chord, play up the scale, play down the scale. Pretty easy. Move to the last chord, play up the scale, play down the scale. Then you want to go through and do the same thing, but just then add in the chord progression that we're going to be using, the 4 B flat, 2 E flat thing we just talked about, but with doing the scale up above. So it would look like something like this. And then if you wanted to keep going, you do the F7. And then you go through and you do the whole thing again. And you get the idea. So practice it. Make it as simple as you can. Don't try to do any fancy rhythms with either hand at first. Just see if you can play the chords with your left hand and the scale with your right hand, and then do it in the order or the chord progression that I gave you so that you're doing it in that 12-bar style. All right, let's take a look at our next topic. Mixing up the scale to create different melodies and patterns. Well, what do I mean by this? Well, let me show you. So instead of just playing the scale all in order, I'm just going to play it up an octave here. It gets kind of boring. Try mixing up the notes of the scale. I kind of recommend you start on B flat, just so it has what we call a tonal center to it. It just makes it sound a little bit more complete. So instead of playing it up and down like that, oops, hit a couple extra notes in there. So See if you can come up with some licks and some patterns. Then what you should do is, like, if you find one that you think is good, practice it over and over until you have it memorized, or even write it down, even better. And then add it, like when you're playing through the chord progression. And it starts to sound, it starts to breathe life into the whole thing. It starts to sound like an actual improv. You know, you're actually using all these skills together to create something new. So a big part of the experience is experimentation. You're going to want to play around with this. You're not just going to want to play it once or twice, because it's going to sound very, very basic when you start doing it. So you really, really want to start messing around, and one of the best ways to do it is start mixing up the scale. I'm still playing all the same notes. I'm just messing with the order a bit. You can also cluster the notes together and play them at the same time. So instead of like playing these 3 notes here, I can like kind of play them together as a harmony or as a group. I could do it better. Kind of like that. So it adds a little bit more crunch to it. Okay, and then let's, after you practice that a bunch, which actually, believe it or not, I've been playing and practicing the blues for over a decade now. I play it, I play it almost every time I do a live stream, but I play it every week at least, but maybe even once a day. So the things that you see me do, and I'll play the whole blues for you here at the end, the things that you see me do are really from experimenting for a decade on this one thing. So you're going to, like, no matter how much you practice it as you go along, you're going to start to find things that you do that, like, are new. And sometimes if you make a mistake, you'll be like, wow, that actually sounded good. And then you'll kind of add it in. So a big part of improv is a trial and error, but I don't know if that's the right word. It's just really experimentation and kind of exploring on your own using these very basic things, the basic chords in the left hand and the blues scale in the right hand. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to play the B-flat blues for you before I talk about that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it to you now. You have all the skills you need to begin putting this whole thing together. There is more information to this, and I'm going to talk about that after I play my version of the B-flat blues for you. But I'm going to do a couple of rounds of the B-flat blues and just show you how it sounds, and maybe you can get some ideas on your own based on what I'm doing. So here we go. Now, you may be noticing that I'm not playing the chords as block chords, but instead playing them up and down as a bass line, and also mixing that up. That's something else you can work on, a little tip for you. So here we go. Are you ready? You can use a little pedal too, but not too much. So there you go. There was a few rounds of the B-flat blues. It's really, really fun to play once you get going on it. You may be thinking, oh man, it's going to take a long time before I can do that. And you're probably right, unless you can just pick this sort of thing up and get rolling with it right away. But you will actually, after maybe even a few days or maybe even a week, you're going to really be like, wow, you know, I'm starting to come up with some things that sound kind of awesome. Even if you're just playing around with the scale in one hand, you're going to be like, wow, you know, I'm starting to come up with something new. And that will kind of motivate you to continue going forward. So don't compare your blues playing to mine. You know, just really go along with yourself. See what you can come up with, and you're going to come up with some really neat things, even things different than what I played, which is the interesting thing. Sometimes I'll listen to somebody else play the blues, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that before. And it's such a simple thing. So it's a really rewarding experience playing the blues. So I recommend you pick this one up. Spend the time on this. Don't give up on it. And you will find it very, very rewarding. I promise. So if you want to learn more about how to play this blues, well, you're in luck, because I have a course to teach you more about improvising with the B-flat blues. A link is in the description. It's over on my website, but of course you can find the link. And once I post the video, I will make sure to post something up so you know where to go for that. Oh, and use the code YouTube during checkout to get an additional 15% off your purchase of the course. You can also check out all the other courses I have on my website. I have over 20 courses, all designed to help you learn a lot more about piano and music, far beyond what you find on the YouTube channel. So if you like it over here, you like the lessons that you find over here, and you're looking to take things to that next level, well, that's what the website is for, pianolessonsontheweb.com. Nathan says we need to give you a blues name. So true. So true. All right. I'm going to continue playing around with the blues, I guess, because it looks like Karen didn't want me to stop. And, you know, I'm just going to keep going with it, I guess. Excuse me. Okay. I'm just going to keep doing it. So here we go. Yeah, all dominant sevens, Julio. Exactly right. Oops. Okay, I am going to, Nathan says, could Boogie-Woogie left-hand patterns apply to this scale? Let me find some Boogie-Woogie left-hand patterns. for you. So let's see. Oh, you know what? Okay, so this is like a walking bass line kind of thing. That's right. That's all there is to it? I thought there was more to the Boogie-Woogie than that. Let's show you here. Let's see. Very strong bass pattern. Okay. Root, 3, 5. Okay, I see what you mean now. Okay, so now we got this walking bass pattern. Yeah, you could definitely use this. I'm not used to playing this pattern more than... Here we go. Alright, see, I always revert back to my normal blues playing because that's what I'm used to. So it looks like the Boogie-Woogie is very similar to what I'm doing, but they use more of a walking bass line kind of thing. So B flat, D, F, G, A flat. I have to get used to that a little bit. I probably should slow it down a little bit. But yeah, you can certainly play this with a Boogie-Woogie pattern. I'm trying to find one that's maybe a little bit more involved than just that walking bass line up and down. I don't really want to be watching videos. Actually, that will get my channel flagged. Yeah, all the ones they give you are these standard kind of things. But yeah, you can definitely play it with the Boogie-Woogie as well. Okay, let me see if I missed any other questions. Hey, Fuddy Duddy's back again. Welcome here from Bangor, Maine. Dem sounds good. Thank you very much, Black. Or BLK, rather. Thelonious Monk, yes. A very good, renowned blues musician. Karen says, love it, Tim, but don't see this happening in my house anytime soon. Like I said, you know, just give it a chance. Practice the basics of it, and then see if you can put it together. Okay, any tips? Nathan asked, any tips on playing on fat fingers playing between the black keys? I sound like a freight train. Yeah, you're gonna know what my tip already is probably. Play slowly. The thing though is I can't relate to your situation as much because my fingers, even when I was heavier, which I'm not anymore, thankfully, my fingers are always really, really skinny, and I got that from my mom pretty much. My dad has like fat sausage fingers. My hands aren't real big. I mean, I can only really reach a ninth, and a ninth like reliably. A tenth? Nah, I can't reach a tenth. Who am I kidding? So my hands aren't really large, but they are skinny. But what I would do is I would just play it slow. Honestly, it probably doesn't have much to do with your fingers. It probably has more to do with you're just not used to playing the scale, and you need to slow it down. Because I missed the notes of the scale when I first started to do it. Just like that. So slow it down. Make sure you really spend time playing the scale nice and slow. Hey, Carol just got here just in time. So glad you could make it out. And then we got Adria. Joss Stone, her music is a bluesy jazz music, so highly recommended by Adria. I recommend you check that out as well. Hey, man, says Isaac. Hey, Isaac, how you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. Okay. Oops, I did miss most of it. Doe, didn't get notification today. Yeah, that was kind of a mistake on my part. What I need to do is I have all the Friday lessons scheduled with YouTube, but no. Today should have shown up because it was a Friday lesson. I don't know why you didn't get the notification today. That seems to be a goof up on YouTube. You should have gotten it. Oh, don't worry. I fully intend to give it a crack. Looks fun. All right. Glad to hear that. My favorite kind of lesson where one gets to listen to the teacher. I don't move a muscle when Carl can't resist a little jam. He forgets I'm there, so no work for me. All right. And then let's see here. Real Wins a Fan says, I don't seem to have a problem between black keys anymore. Seems to be entirely just getting used to it. I'm even okay with mini keys now. Yeah, it just does take some getting used to, I think. Yeah, the size of your fingers can kind of impact a little bit. But I think ultimately it's a matter of getting used to the scale. All right, any questions about what we talked about tonight? Like I said, it was going to be a quicker lesson only because there really isn't a whole lot more than what I taught you. I mean, there is in terms of like little techniques in the course I mentioned at the end of the lesson that I have a link to in the description. I talk more about some different techniques you can use to get it sound a little bit more like mine, and also how to get it a little bit more perfect sounding beyond just, in the beginning it's going to sound clunky, I'm not going to lie, and it's going to take a while, but like I said, it's very rewarding to go out on your own and try this out. Okay, Real Wins Fan says, haha, notification email arrived just now. I don't know why that is. That perplexes me. Why would they send it like a half hour late? Darn YouTube. In Spanish, some lessons, please. I don't know Spanish, Enoch, so I'm really sorry. I cannot accommodate your request. Okay, any questions about playing the B-flat blues? If not, we'll talk a little bit about the lessons coming up over the next few weeks, and then maybe we'll adjourn a little bit early if we don't have any questions coming out. A little bit slow of a day on YouTube. Now, don't get me wrong, the questions are great today, but I just noticed the views are down and everything. Okay. All right, so I'm going to talk about... let's see. Julio says, Tim, I'm interested in purchasing your course, but not right now, which is fine. Maybe someday in the future. Are you sure it works if I have different currency? Yeah. What currency are you using? I'm sure it works for any currency. The only problem I have to tell you this. I've never had a problem with somebody buying my courses from a different country that I haven't been able to resolve. So whenever somebody says, oh, you know what, I tried to buy and it just didn't go through because I live on some island somewhere, I've always been able to solve every problem that's come by. So try to, when you're ready, place the order for the course. And if it doesn't go through for whatever reason, let me know and I'll make sure it goes through. Like I said, I've never had a problem I couldn't resolve. That IT background comes in handy for sure when running the website and everything in the YouTube channel. Yeah, you can click the notification bell. It might do a better job if you do that, but it might not. YouTube is very strange. And if you already you live in the Philippines. Yeah, I've had some other students from the Philippines, so I think you'll be all right. If you have any problem whatsoever, just let me know, and I'll be able to correct it. I'm like 99.9% sure. I paid in sterling. No problems at all, says Karen. Yep. So yeah, I've had a lot of students that have purchased from faraway lands and places, which is just awesome. When I first started this thing, I never really expected a lot of traction from people in other countries, but it makes sense because YouTube really is a ton of people from all over the world watching these videos. So it's just awesome to see. I've even had students from China, Africa, Australia. It's really awesome. Okay, let me see. Rafolo. Let me see if I can pronounce. Rod Olflo Sanchez says, which should I start first, music theory playlist or piano playlist? I would check out the piano playlist first and then do the music theory playlist. Let me take a look here. Let me show everybody the order in which you should watch my videos on YouTube, because I have spent a little bit of time on this. I still need to make a few adjustments. Let me show you this way. So just give me a segundo. Okay, here we are live right now. So if you go on the main channel page, youtube.com/lessons on the web, and you scroll down, you can first see what we're going to be talking about in the next few live classes. We'll talk about that in a minute. If you scroll down, there's a section called recommended order of lessons from beginning to end. And the very first playlist of lessons you should watch is the beginner start here. And then I guess you can watch piano lesson set number 2 after that. You can probably watch music theory somewhere in between there, but just follow this pattern of lessons if you're starting from the very beginning, and that will make sure you're working through the lessons in the appropriate levels in which they appear. Because once in a while I will make a lesson for a very beginner student, and then I'll make one like that kind of assumes you know a little bit already. So just make sure to follow this path of lessons and you should be good to go. There shouldn't be any mix-ups as like oh, something I didn't learn quite yet or something like that. And then if you scroll down on the page some more, you'll find that the lessons then are organized by their category, like piano, music theory, how to read music, rhythm lessons, and all sorts of awesome things I thought you would need to become a well-rounded musician. So check that out. Another thing I want you to check out is pianolessonsontheweb.com. And then this time, if you click on community at the top, it takes you to our community page. And wow, I need to update that subscribe button because we're about 10,000 subscribers after that. Okay, so it looks like Sunday we're having our community Q&A. That could be anything. What I need to do, though, is I need to make another channel trailer. I might do that then and kind of ask for your input there. So on Sundays, we generally have our community question and answer session about music, where I basically take questions from you and answer them around a certain topic having to do with learning piano. And then you want to check out next Friday because we got simple exercises to improve piano hand independence. I'll try to throw in some exercises I haven't talked about yet on the channel to kind of give you something spicy and new if you've been a regular attendee of ours. And then then we have another Q&A, but then the next Friday is simple tricks to help your piano improvisation sound more professional. You know, I might play around with that one a little bit, that subject. You might see the title of it change a little bit. And then the 4 chords that are used to play hundreds of songs. These are 4 chords that literally are found in hundreds of songs. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to play all 100 of these songs by learning these 4 chords, but it will certainly help. And they are very important indeed. And then some like left-hand piano playing into March, and important advice to learning piano as an adult for the 23rd. So make sure you check out the calendar of what we're talking about and when. And in a lot of the cases, you can click on the one you want to attend, like so the 4 chords, and then the attendance link is right here. You click on it, and then you can click, it says live in 20 days, so that's quite a whiles away it seems. But you can click a little notification. Oh, maybe it won't let it do it because I'm signed in. I'm not signed in as me. But anyway, there should be a little notification button. You press there, and then YouTube will let you know when we're meeting and when. Or what we're talking about and when. Okay, let's see. Is there a chord progression that works well with the B-flat blues scale? Yeah, so we were talking about, you mean other than the one we talked about today? Because if you missed, yeah, you did kind of come in. No, Nathan, you were here from the beginning, I think. So other than the one we did today, you know, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. Honestly, any chord progression that uses the notes we talked about. No, that won't work at all. And let me see. The only thing I can think of is that instead of, you know, you have your B flat 7 chord, and then you have your E flat 7 chord. What you can do actually is you can replace some of these chords by using chord substitutions. I made a lesson on it a while ago. Just type in chord substitutions and lessons on the web, and it should come up. But instead of playing the E flat 7 chord, you can play like a C minor 7. That works because a lot of the notes, there's a lot of common tones between E flat 7 and C minor 7. Same thing with F. You can replace the F7 chord with like an A7. Something like that. But I would stick to the B flat blues progression. I'd actually have to think about this one a little bit more, to be honest. Oh, Nathan, great question. So Nathan elaborates a little bit more. I missed that part. I'm not sure if I'm using the right words to describe what I'm asking. For instance, does a 1-4-5 progression work with the scale? Can you show a little of this, a little of that? Well, guess what? I did show it to you because this progression, B flat, E flat, F, back to B flat, that is your 1-4-5 progression. So if you're in the key of B flat's your 1 chord, and then E flat is your 4 chord, F is your 5 chord. So yep, it definitely works with the 1-4-5. I was thinking outside of the 1-4-5. If it worked with any of that. I'm sure I could come up with something, but I'd have to kind of chart it out first. Does that too for me, but I'll get the notification. But then since it already started and got pretty far into it, I just started clicking on the live stream and waiting for it to start. Fireflower's late. Apparently YouTube today is doing a really bad job at notifying everybody on when we're meeting. So I'm going to have to think of another... I'm going to have to think of like a way around that. It seems to work better. Wait, hold on. Cool. It seems to work better so you're not missing a whole lot. But it seems sometimes the live streams have started earlier, like 6:57, so I came early tonight. They never start that early. It should be, well, maybe 6:57 your time. I think it started 7:57 my time, so that is possible. Yeah, I might start the stream up a little bit early from now on, and what I might do is you might log in, and you might be greeted with this, class will begin, and then it's like a timer that counts down. I might do that because if I do that, say I set that like a half hour early, right, then technically by the time we start, all the notifications should have arrived. Now, don't be like the only annoying part about it is you might get to the live stream and see the counter, but you'll know that we'll start at the normal time we usually do. So maybe I'll try that. Maybe because I know other people who live stream do that, and that's probably why they do it. So YouTube actually gets the notifications out. So I'll experiment around with that because I do want everybody to be notified when we're meeting. Okay, Barbara says, I was struggling to reach some of the chords and hymns. Then I realized the hymns are written for organ, where the bottom notes are played on foot pedals, hand and foot coordination. Yeah, you can drop out, let me get it back here. You can drop out certain notes of the chord for sure. Like if there's a huge span of notes, then just play maybe the bottom note with your left hand, and then as many as you can grab with your right. I hear Tim's voice and that alerts me, says Karen. All right. I'm usually set up by 8 p.m. as classes start for 1 a.m. for me. Wow, so you're really a trooper for coming in so early. Okay, wow, so 2 a.m. next month. If I'm not ahead of time, I get distracted with something else. Coordination sustain pedals hard enough and don't have an organ. Yeah, neither do I. I've always wanted to learn how to play organ, but I've never had the opportunity. Central time, so lessons are 7 p.m. to me. Okay, so here by 6:50 something. So I'm ready. Okay, so that makes sense. This is one of my favorite lessons so far. Thank you for taking the time. You're very welcome, Nathan. I'm glad you enjoyed today's lesson, and it makes it all worthwhile when somebody enjoys it for sure. All right, any questions about what we talked about tonight? We might end it a little early tonight, which isn't a problem. I'm getting a little sleepy anyways. I've been exercising more, so by the end of the day, I'm a little bit more tired, so not such a bad thing. Okay, everybody. Anybody else? Let's see. Oops. Okay, just looking over something. All right. So if you like tonight's lesson, feel free to leave me a super chat if you want to say thanks, give me a little bit of a tip. If not, totally cool. Super chat is that little symbol right here below the chat. I know a lot of people unfortunately aren't able to leave super chats. Again, if you want to learn more about improvising using the blues, check out the link in the description. I'll also give you a link to my website right now in case you've never been there. All right, perfect. So there's a link to my website. And let's see, Real Winds of Fans says, I hear you. Currently do a 10-mile walk every night. Yeah, I run for 2 miles in the morning. Oh, wait, I wake up. I have coffee first. I don't eat anything because I can actually run a lot better when I don't have anything in my stomach. I wake up, I drink coffee, I answer emails, I do yoga for like a half hour. Helps keep me really, actually, I feel like I started doing it a lot maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I think 3 months ago, sometime in the late fall, and I feel fantastic, body-wise for sure. And then I get on the treadmill and I run for 2 miles, sometimes a little bit over 2 miles, and then I do weight training earlier or later in the day sometimes if I have time. All right, my dog walks me every morning at 6 a.m. Well, that's a very good thing. Dogs are really fun to have, and getting out to walk at 6 a.m. You get it done then, right? You don't have to worry about exercise for the rest of the day, at least not to the point where you're missing out on it entirely. Karen says, "Forgive me, but I hate the organ. I had piano in church for my wedding." All right, so, everybody's a little bit different. All right. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Again, we had our a loyal fan base here again today, minus Rich. I guess Rich couldn't make it out today, which is totally fine. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming out and being a part of our lessons. Seriously, everybody who contributes, whether they contribute in the comments or you just kind of sit back and relax and enjoy the lessons, you really make the whole experience for me. As I say all the time, if the community wasn't there behind the lessons, I would have stopped a long time ago, and I wouldn't be motivated to make better and better lessons all the time. So thank you all for that. You all are helping keep this whole thing going, and I really, really appreciate that. And it's lovely to hear from all of you again and again. I'm starting to get to know you, even though I just kind of see you through the chat and things like that. I get to know a little bit about each of you each time. So it's really cool. I feel like we have, in terms of all the piano lesson channels on YouTube, we probably have, in my opinion, I'm a little biased, but we have one of the best communities of students in our classroom, and I'm really thankful for that. So I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and coming to these live streams and commenting and liking the videos, or just sitting back and watching. It really means the world to me to know that you're there appreciating the lessons. So thank you so much. Let's see. Real Wins the Fan says used to run lots of marathons but picked up bad injury. Oh, you can only walk now. Hopefully I don't get one of those. One reason I decided to take up piano, so it's a very good way to do it, is, pick up something a little bit more cerebral to take up your time and keep you going. Karen says I don't have one, but my daughter does. Laredo says, hello everybody. I trust that all of you are well. I just have absolutely no idea how I missed a big part of the lesson. Sorry about that, Laredo. I will post up a recording of the lesson. Actually, you'll be able to, if you come back to this link in just a few minutes after I end the lesson, you're going to be able to watch the whole lesson in its entirety, uncut, and then tomorrow morning sometime, you should expect the full, cut recording where I cut out all the fluff and make the entire lesson. So you'll be able to watch that tomorrow, the main part of the lesson. So if you missed it today, I'm sorry about that. We were talking about that earlier, that YouTube, especially today, did a really bad job of notifying everybody. So what I think I'm going to start experimenting with is actually starting the live stream early and putting a timer counting down to when we meet. And then that way, I think that'll give YouTube a little bit more time, I hope, to notify everybody. I want to take a minute and thank Linda Reitz for super chatting. Thank you so much for your support. I really, really appreciate that. Your kindness has not gone unnoticed. Linda almost always leaves a super chat, I believe. So thank you so much. And then good night, my good friend. Been enjoying your piano lessons. You really helped me. Thanks. 1W, I can't read your entire name, but I'm just going to call you 1W. So thank you for coming out tonight. I really appreciate that. Karen says, I love this class. Why else would I stay up till stupid o'clock? Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate that more than anything. Carol says, thank you so much, Tim. I love all your different piano subjects you approach. Thank you. I used to do weight room for volleyball training in high school. I whacked my knee shin on the box jump. Was out of work for a few days, but I do hate weight room. All right. That does not sound fun. Jordan says, super chat is not allowed in my area. I'm really sorry about that, Jordan. If you want to contribute to the channel, you can check out my Patreon, patreon.com/lessons on the web. That's another good way to donate. Let me just kind of link everybody to that. I'm sure you guys all know what Patreon is. So you can check it out right there if you want to leave a super chat, but you don't have super chat available to you. Also, enrolling in the courses on my website is also a great way to to say thank you, and then you get something in return. You get a course where you can learn a lot more about piano and music. Let's take a look here. Didn't see you till 10 minutes ago. YouTube really horrible. Ooh, I agree. That's not fair. That actually kind of annoys me a little bit, that YouTube isn't letting you guys know about our stream. I think that could be hurting us in the long run. So I'm going to think of some ways. Like I said, I'm going to start it early, I think, and then just put a countdown, and then we'll meet at our normal time, and hopefully by then everybody will have the notification. Can't wait till your next live session. Hope YouTube hits better at notifications. All right, so we're going to meet again on Sunday at the same time we met today. So whatever an hour ago was for you happens to be 9 p.m. here right now for me. Normally meet at 8 p.m. So the same time, and then we are going to be meeting on Sunday. And then the same time next week. So Fridays and Sundays, 8 p.m. Adria says, I ran a mud run a few years back. It was worth it, but felt like roadkill the next day. Yeah, I can imagine. It was Luzulu's woman's mud run. I was running for somebody who had cancer back in 2014. Oh, man. Sorry to hear about cancer. I have a lot of personal experiences with that, unfortunately. Karen says YouTube does countdown already. I know they do a countdown, but the thing is if I initiate the stream earlier and make my own countdown, then I think YouTube will think that we're actually meeting at that time, and that YouTube hopefully will send them out at that time. I'm going to experiment around with it. So if it doesn't work, let me know, and we'll mess around. Well, I'll mess around to just find something that works for everybody. Because I really don't like people missing the lesson because YouTube didn't notify them. Okay, lots of streams. I watched you the countdown, probably for the same reason. Thanks for the lessons again. I did Amin Shin, typing faster than my brain can think. Also, I want to thank, if I didn't thank you already, I apologize, David, for the $2 super chat. Thank you so much, David. I saw it scroll by, and then I kind of forgot about it for a second. But you did not go unnoticed. Thank you so much, David, for your super chat and your support. Very much appreciated, everybody. All right, I'm going to wrap things up here. You know, we are going to meet on Saturday, on Sunday at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then if you can't make it on Sunday, I'll see you next Friday at the same time we met today. Lorena says, thank you, Tim. Truly appreciated. I always look forward to your lessons and also comments from fellow students. The countdown will be most appreciated. It is currently 3:55 in South Africa. That's awesome that you're in Africa. I've had a few students from Africa, both on the YouTube channel and from the website. And it's just so awesome that people from all over the planet are learning piano. The kitten's been watching you tonight. He really enjoyed your playing. All right, I'm glad to hear it. I lost my cat this year, as many of you know, and it was sad. I had him for 19 years. I miss him so much, and I look forward to when I buy a house in a few months. I'm not going to get a cat right away, but I probably will get a cat after maybe a year or so after I move. I would love to have a cat again. I love cats. People are usually cat people, dog people, or both. I'm a little bit of both, but I definitely lean more towards cats, mainly because that's what I've had the most experience with. Barbara says, if only the countdown would work, it just starts counting over again at the start time, so your own countdown would be better. All right, so I think that's what I'll do. Merlin, would you please play us out, Tim? Yeah, I'll play you out with a little bit of B-flat blues again. By the way, I am having an expert, actually a couple of experts, YouTube experts, look at my channel over in the next 2 weeks, which will be really, really exciting because they're going to give me a lot of awesome tips and things that I'm doing wrong to adjust to make the channel even better. So expect even better lessons and just better flow around this channel. I'm really excited about that. Hey 1W, so if it's 2:55 your time, we will meet at 2 your time in Europe. So we'll meet 2 o'clock, whatever an hour ago, 55 minutes ago was for you, which would be 2 o'clock, I believe. We're going to be meeting again on Sunday. Oh man, I'm messing it up. Hold on. Nathan says, is there any rhyme or reason to when I throw a chord into my right hand? So the ninth chords. I got some of them in here already. Alright, to answer Nathan's question, is there any rhyme or reason to when I throw in a chord with my left hand? So, yeah, that's something called comping. So basically I can actually just do chords the whole time. So I'm just playing chords along with the rhythm. That's really all there is to it. And a lot of it, like I mentioned before in the lesson, is trial and error. So you can go like... So what I like to do is start an idea like with the melody and then end it with a chord sometimes. So it has like a punch to it. You know, I just add those in for a little bit of flavor. So there is rhyme and reason to it, but it's not necessarily calculated, because if it was really calculated, it wouldn't be improv as much. Okay, love the channel as it is, but big believer we can improve anything in our lives, says Catherine. So excited for you and us, very professional as it is. Well, thank you very much, Catherine. I know I've made we have really made a lot of progress here on the channel in terms of our community, in terms of the lessons we're putting out. I feel like the lessons I'm putting out are better than ever, better than the ones I did last year, way better than the ones I did the year before. So things are getting better and better and better. There's always room for improvement, and there's a lot of technical things that go behind YouTube and making great content and getting that content shared. So the goal really isn't just to make better lessons. That's one of the goals, because how do you get a great community? Well, you unite them behind, great content. So that's important. And then, getting those videos seen around the internet and really engaging people the right way and marketing, all really, really important to running a YouTube channel. Anybody that runs like a high-level YouTube channel really, really puts a lot of work into it for the most part. There's a few exceptions where people, there's some channels years ago, like Leafy is here, and some channels that were like bullying channels that got really, really big, that don't require a lot of work. But for the most part, if you see a YouTuber that's doing a good job, they're putting work into it. So, and there's always room to, for improvement as well, like you said. All right, thanks everybody. Would adding glissando while playing blues be appropriate? Well, the problem is if you do a normal glissando like this, I guess. I don't think it's practical, but again, like I said, experiment around with it and see if you can get it to work. You might get it to sound awesome. Barbara says, my grandson wants to be a YouTuber. Well, all right. That's actually a pretty cool thing, because you can learn a lot of neat little business things running a YouTube channel, even if you're pretty young. I'm not sure how old your grandson is. But even as a young age, it's probably a decent thing to get into, even if he just puts out a few videos, see how they do, answer some questions and some comments and things like that. All right. Thanks everybody for coming by. I appreciate your kind words on the channel and the lessons. I'm so glad they are appreciated, and it means the world to me. How about a future meet and greet for the community? Would love to come to the USA in the future. Maybe I'll do that. Not this year. I'm pretty busy this year with everything. I got to work on some life things that were put on hold because of all the things that went on in my life the last couple of years. So, at some point I would like to do that. If there was like a convention or something we could all meet at, that would be great. Only if travel is possible. Another thing that would probably be like a lot more practical. Like we could do that at some point. I'd have to plan that out ahead. But that won't happen this year. I'll tell you I'll tell you that. But what probably we could do at some point is set up like a group conference where I actually get to talk to everybody rather than just kind of reading your comments and conversing with you that way. That would be really neat. Rich Brian, who normally, I don't know if that's his real last name. I don't think that is his real last name. But anyway, Rich Brian, as you've seen from the chat here, he comes here often. I've had a few meetings, not face-to-face, but some Skype meetings with him. He's actually been on the live stream before a couple of times. So I could do something like that. I'm not a big traveler either, to tell you the truth, but I would do it if I could set it up. Gives you time to save, alright. Maybe at a blues festival or something. That's an idea. Alright, you're very welcome, Laredo. Alright, everybody, I'm gonna check out of here. You have a great evening. Thanks for coming again. This has been You Know Who from You Know Where, Tim from Lessons on the Web. Thank you so much for being an awesome part of our classroom, and I'm going to talk to you in the next lesson. Have a great night.